Hey y'all, welcome back to Chatting with Coach Amy podcast. Today I'm here with, this is Erin, y'all, and she found me on the podcast, right?
Yes.
And then she did some Zoom classes, asked a lot of questions. The next thing I know, she's in buds, now she's in blooms and killing it. We were just like chit-chatting and we started talking. I'm like, wait a minute, we need to start recording. So before we get any further, thank you so much for agreeing to let me interview you. I am very excited. Oh my gosh, so excited. When I emailed her, she was like, me? I'm like, yes, you. So what I was saying, we're just going to get to it. You're before and still going, because you are still going. And I love saying that. I don't like before and after because we are always still going. It's incredible.
See, and I still didn't think it looked that different.
Oh,
it was really hard to try to.
I mean, I'm looking at it right now going, oh my golly. Yes.
What I started to say when we said we need to start recording this, yeah. I hate full body photos. So like I tried to take a before, like I was told to in buds, and I have them, but I look so mad in them. I don't want to use them.
I understand.
So the one that I found that I used for you is one where we were wedding dress shopping for my niece. Oh. And that's what she was giving us all our please be my bridesmaid thing. So that's what kind of got my butt in gear again.
Yeah.
Because I've done THM before on my own, not with a coach. And then, Livy asking me to be one of her bridesmaids. It was like, okay, like I don't have to be skinny to be a bridesmaid, but it's like, I kind of want to look my best up there with her. So Absolutely. Get back to it, Erin.
Hey, that's a great one. So when is the wedding, or has it already been?
No, it's in October. I still have, I have more months.
You do. I got to know, I mean, like, how much have you lost so far?
So since I started in January, and pretty much like the day I decided I'm getting back to it is the day I found your podcast. So even though we don't count my stuff until buds, you've been my coach since January.
That's fine. You count that.
So it was like 35 pounds down.
Awesome. Well, your inches must be incredible because I was expecting more.
I have no idea what they were in January. I knew I should have like done my measurements, but I didn't. So from the time I started buds in March, I'm down 11 inches total.
Mm-hmm. Well,
but yeah, I've dropped like 2 pant sizes. Wow. I went on Faith, and the bridesmaid's dress I bought is one size smaller than I was fitting in. So we're getting into that thing one way or another come October.
That's right. I had a wedding I was in years ago, before THM, but I was working out. It wasn't CrossFit. It was a kettlebell studio my friend owned. And I did some things like what is it called? Advocare type things.
Yeah.
There was another program at our church called Fit for Life. So I was doing Advocare, the Fit for Life, and the kettlebell. And my hormones were still great, and I was young and all that. I think it was right before I started having really bad, ovarian, uterine issues. But anyway, so I was like living my best life and super strong and lean. I probably weighed less than I do now, but I was in a wedding and I had to take my dress to be altered because I had lost so much. Like I was tiny. I'll have to find that picture. But I'm glad that I'm back to that now, but it was my hormones and all that stuff were whacked. Anyway, okay, let's get to you. About me.
I tried to be smart about that dress selection. So it's one that I think if I exceed what I'm shooting for, I can quickly like take in the sides up here and the bodice, and I can adjust if I have to go smaller, but it's not going to adjust very easily if I don't get down that one more size. So I got to get at least one more goal, but at the rate I'm going, and I am not like I'm not going off track at all. So I don't see it not happening.
Right. That's right. Yeah, you're doing great. And you are so focused. I will say that I know that the wedding is a good incentive for you. And I don't know you that well personally, but I think that even when the wedding's over, you're still going to be a trim, healthy mama and still continuing, doing all these things.
That is the plan. When I did it the first time in 2018, there was a lot going on. personally. Like there was nothing health going on, but my husband and I weren't doing great. We're okay now, but we weren't doing great at the time. And it's so funny that this is like our first one-on-one conversation, because I feel like I talk to you or listen to you all the time. But my son has cerebral palsy, and he was getting bigger and harder to lift and harder to take care of. And he is much stronger now too, which is helpful. But at the time, it was like, okay, if this is going to be just me and him, potentially, I got to be stronger. I got to be healthier. I can't leave him without me. So that's my real why. So even though this wedding is kind of what was like, get it going again, that's what's going to keep me going.
Good. I love that. So tell us a little bit about yourself. We veered from the typical, tell us about yourself at the beginning. But we're in there. It's all right. Hey, there's no rules here. It's fine.
We make our own.
We do.
What about me? I'm almost 40, so I'm creeping up on that here in a couple of months. I have Wyatt. I have my husband Jared. We'll hit our 20th anniversary in a couple weeks.
Yay! Congratulations.
So we're coming. Thank you. So ups and downs, obviously, from my previous comment, but that's life.
That's too, for sure.
So we've had Wyatt is the only pregnancy I've had, so no other kids at home.
And how old is he?
He's going to be 13 in October. No. And he was told to be quiet during this. No,
we will not. I have a 13-year-old.
My home is entirely open. The only room that I have that has a wall is my bedroom. So he is sitting very close. I've told him he has to be quiet, but he's not listening right now.
That's okay. We won't talk about him anymore. It's fine.
That works. Everything in my life tends to come back to him though, so I can't promise that I won't.
That's right.
So I've spent like 20 years in banking. And then a few years ago, I'm trained as a certified financial planner, but a couple years ago, I switched gears and went into working with the software that those people use. Wow. So I'm now in software testing. So that's my work.
Good to know.
It's fun. I never thought of myself as a tech person, but once I got there, it was like, this is where I should have been this whole time.
Well, that is awesome. It's good to land in a happy place for work. We were just talking about that. I kind of confessed like one of the things I don't like about my job. I'm not going to say it right here.
There's always something you don't like about your job, so it's okay.
But honestly, I mean, it's really not that bad.
No. Well, I mean, I would not change what I'm doing now for anything. But there are still days it's like, I really don't want this one coming. Meetings for me. I'll confess mine. The number of meetings I have.
I'm sure. Yeah, I was really thankful that we were able to schedule this because my schedule's whack, yours is whack, but we figured it out. Love it. Okay, and did you say where y'all live?
Indiana. No, I didn't.
So you work from home, right?
Part-time. My office is about an hour away, so a couple days a week I drive in, and the rest of the time I work from home.
Okay, cool. Well, that's awesome. That is awesome. Very good. Okay, so just tell me what maybe some of your greatest struggles have been, either last time that you did THM or with your comeback.
With my comeback, it sounds too good to be true, but I don't feel like I have any. It's like this time, everything that I struggled with before just fell into place. I would say that the struggles that I had the previous time, it wasn't necessarily support in the sense that everyone in my life was trying to derail me. It wasn't that, but my husband at the time, sounds like there's a different husband. At the time, my husband wasn't really on board with learning it to be able to help me cook.
Right.
So it was, if I didn't cook, then I didn't get an on-plan meal.
Right.
And if I insisted on cooking, then we would eat like at 10 o'clock at night or something crazy because of work schedules. And I just got burnt out. And that's what happened when I totally derailed during the pandemic. I was working from home all the time.
Right.
And it just was way too easy to stay in my corner back here and keep working. And my husband would take care of meals, but it would be whatever he could cook with whatever groceries we could manage, because the grocery stores didn't have everything.
Mhm.
And it just, one cheat meal here and another cheat meal there. And the next thing I knew, I was completely off plan and just kind of threw in the towel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was highly frustrating because I had lost about 80 pounds that time.
Wow, Erin.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I gained 65 of it back. So it's basically like starting over, which if anyone's listening to this, don't let yourself do that.
That's right.
It is so frustrating.
Keep going. Yeah. I would love to talk about that in a minute about, how to come back just from a derailed day. I mean, because it's so hard to do for some people. So did he, on this go around, he was more open to learning the plan and all that?
Yeah. So he's struggled with weight his whole life too. He's kind of adapting to becoming a trim healthy fella. He's not sure.
I love that y'all say that.
Well, when I heard you gave a name to it, because he hates telling people, yeah, we eat like trim healthy mama. Like that just seems funny for him. Yeah. So and
they're about to start changing the branding to just be trim healthy.
Good. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know there's differences. It's a lot of it was focused towards women with
in the beginning,
hormonal setup and stuff. Yeah. But I mean, he has lost, I think since January, he's lost close to 50.
Oh my stars. Okay. Yeah. What's his name?
Jared.
Jared, you go, dude. Tell him I said high five. That's awesome.
I will do that. So he tried low carb a lot of times, but he couldn't stick with it. Mm-hmm. He would crave stuff and he would get off track more than me. And then he is one of those that struggles with a comeback, even after an off meal. And so this time around, he was just like, okay, what are you doing? How do I learn this? How do I make this work? If he's cooking, it's typically an S meal, but he still eats E meals with me now if I cook them. So it's not like I have to avoid E's for dinner. And he's finding a lot of success with it too, which has been encouraging.
What a tag team. So did he watch any of my teaching stuff from group coaching or anything?
He has not done that.
Okay.
Like if I'm sitting watching a video, he'll watch it with me, but I haven't like pulled it up and said, you need to watch this. Right. Probably maybe should. I think he would be open at this point. I mean,
probably knows who I am. It's just like old friend.
I come back and I'm like, okay, wait a minute. She posted something about kiwi today. You're going to have kiwi too. Or you really need to try getting some quinoa in. Or
I love it. So he knows who I am.
He knows who you are.
That cracks me up.
My whole family knows who you are.
So I don't know if I told y'all this in group coaching or not, but at the coaches retreat, one of the coaches, we were just kind of talking, and a lot of them know who I am, but I don't necessarily know who they are. And it's just the nature of the beast, right. For me, like scrolling Facebook and doing things like, I just don't have time because I'm notification, like I post and then I'm looking at notifications on Facebook, and then group coaching is on a totally different app, plus everything else in my life. So I'm just not in all that yet. I'm just not in there. So it's just, whatever. Happy to meet you in person. So anyway, we're talking and she was like, I'm so proud of Wes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know who you are. I feel so terrible. I know she is now, of course. She's precious. And I'm so glad she spoke up. So anyway, she was like, I'm really having trouble with my husband. I said, girl, you tell him Coach Amy said. She goes, oh, I will. And then she started telling me that her whole family knows who I am. And I'm like, what? And she goes, yeah. And I said, put that dude on FaceTime. And she was like, really? And I'm like, yes. And so I FaceTime. He was driving to Burger King. And so I can't remember his name. I want to say it started with a J too. But anyhow, so I told him, I was like, hey, you need to get on plan. He was like, hey, Coach Amy, or hey, Amy, or whatever. I think he did say, hey, Amy. And anyway, it was crazy. It just blows my mind. I get that women know who I am, but when their families know too, it's just so funny.
And I get it. I mean, on one hand, I get the way you're thinking, but if the woman is lucky and the family is supportive, they're going to know because they're going to hear about it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, it's a joy and an honor for sure, because I'm blown away every day, by people. Wes, when we were driving home from Natchez, I was like, I'm really glad nobody like, oh my gosh, Coach Amy, like It was super low key. We didn't really see very many people because we didn't go very many places, and Natchez isn't booming right now. Like there's not a big fling, but I have been in Hattiesburg, which is an hour and a half away where I get my pellets, and a lady stopped me. And at ball games, ball tournaments, like not in our town, that's happened.
They find you. They're everywhere.
It's very weird.
No, well, and you mentioned Wes. I was going to tell you when I told Jared that Wes was going full on plan. That's when he was like, okay, really? Guys do it too. So I will tell you, us hearing that Wes is in his progress, it's good for our guys.
I will let Wes know. I wish he was here. I told him, I said, we need to do a podcast soon and kind of give an update. And he was like, you're going to carry the conversation, right?
He sounds like my husband.
Sure, I will.
I met my husband by trying to get him to talk.
That's funny. Yes. But Wes, when he gets going, like he does have a lot of good things to say. I love it.
Same,
so
yeah.
I'm so proud. I'm so proud of him and you for going through. And, you know, I know that working as much as you do, it's a job doing THM, especially in the beginning and getting going. And I feel, well, for me, once I got going and it was second nature, it's really not a big deal anymore.
Right.
You know? Do you feel you're there?
I do. I don't even think about him anymore. The thing that I still have to think about constantly is it's time to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Timing is my thing. So I can't control, like you said, getting us to sync up. I was scrambling to eat my lunch between a meeting that ended at 11:30 my time and us starting at noon, but having to put my lunch together and get it eaten in that half hour.
Yeah.
And cook my son's lunch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are days that it's like everything is so jam packed, but I've just kind of learned what I can eat in those short amount of times and what I can pack. There is not a time I don't have like the tiny cucumbers and miniature bell peppers and just stuff that it's like, I can eat these fast. They don't require heating up. So I don't have to go down 2 floors at the office to the microwave and things like that. And once you find those things, you may eat the same things all the time, but you're on a routine.
That's right. And for me, I don't know how you feel about it. I do enjoy food. I love food. I think y'all know that very well. But I am not that special and I don't feel that entitled that everything has to be 1,000,000% delicious. Like I'm fueling my body. Move on to the next thing.
I do agree with that. I do like good food. That is a hard thing. Yes. But I've also learned things that scared me can make really good food fast. So like my salad being covered in nutritional yeast. I bought it the last time. Mm-hmm. I never opened it. It got expired. It went bad because I was scared because I didn't know what to use.
Yeah.
So like watching, I think it was one of your Deep S video maybe.
Oh, yep, that's right.
Where you were cooking with it.
Yep.
And then you mentioned you put it on salads. Okay. It goes on almost every vegetable now.
It does.
It is so good. So yeah, it's just, and that's what I did today. I had romaine with nutritional yeast on it and some quinoa and a chicken burger. Like, wow. The romaine was already cut up. Everything was just heated up in the microwave, took less than 2 minutes. And I had a salad size plate. I've switched my plate size too.
Yeah, girl.
I even got my husband to switch his plate size. That was like a huge win. Yes.
But he won't have to do that forever though. I bet when he hits his happy place of weight, I bet he'll be able to go back up a little bit.
And he's done it a few meals, just depending on what the food is. Like if it's a really messy meat or something like that. But for the most part, the moment they came into the house from Amazon, he started using them. I was so proud.
I love it. You got new cute ones. Oh, I'm so excited.
Well, I mean, they're plain, but yes, they're pretty blue.
Oh, I love it. Hey, whatever makes you happy. I'm all about making a pretty plate on a pretty plate.
That is what my thought was. I was like, I'm going to use them. I'm going to use ones that I like.
That's right. I think that's important. It's kind of like putting your homemade iced coffee in a leftover Starbucks cup. There is something to that. Am I not lying? I'm just saying it is.
No, I love it when you share them.
I know. When I posted that though, the comments, I'm like, I'm not that weird. Or all these people are just weirdos like me. I attract like people, that's for sure. I love it. I love it. So how does breakfast go at your house?
Breakfast varies. A lot of mornings It's a collagen coffee. It's pretty simple. Weekends, I do full food breakfast, but I also sleep in a little later on the weekends.
Yes.
So instead of having like, when I go into the office, especially, I'm up by 5 and out the door pretty early. So I don't want a full plate of food that early, and I don't have the time to get myself ready and get out the door and cook. So it's usually collagen coffee, and then I'll do like yogurt for my morning snack with berries and stuff. So it's kind of breaking the breakfast up into 2 sessions.
Right.
And then we just recently tried, like this weekend, I made the overnight cinnamon squares for the first time. My family has told me that needs to be a staple that I make every week now.
Yes.
And I've got some varying ideas I wanna play with on it. I kind of want to see if I can make a strawberry syrup and replace the cinnamon.
So I bet you $1 million. Sorry, that was one of my dogs. The berry wow spread in Trim Healthy Future.
Okay. I'll look at that one then.
Do it. So I was gonna, I made a king cake out of.
I saw that. Yes.
Okay. So Wes loves a strawberry filled king cake, and I was gonna do the berry. I just never did it. But that's what I was gonna do.
So my favorite like morning pastry is like a cream cheese berry Danish.
You can totally do it. Totally.
Well, and I got to thinking, I'm like, I did it in the E version instead of the crossover. And I had seen recently that cream cheese extract. I'm like, why would you need cream cheese? I now know why you need cream cheese extract, because I can make it taste like that.
Yes, you can.
Without the fat.
You can even use like a light Swiss Laughing Cow wedge.
That's what I was thinking. Stick that extract in that, and brilliant. I'm gonna try it.
Brilliant. Let me know.
That's what I have fun doing. we take the base recipes a lot and we tweak them. We did it with the cheeseburger pie too.
Perfect. Did you lighten it up?
We did not. He probably fattened. But he turned it into a mushroom and Swiss cheeseburger pie. This was my husband's idea.
Wow.
So it was really good, but we've used it then to like make stuffed bell peppers with it. And so that kind of lightens it, maybe, because you get it in the bell pepper. I don't know.
Yeah, well, and you added mushrooms. And Swiss cheese might be a little lighter in fat than the cheddar.
It might. I didn't look. I just feel like when Jared's still heavy-handed with fat. So when he puts the cheese in, it's a little heavy.
For me, I'm like, I'm just halving the cheese, y'all. I'm halving the cheese.
Right.
Sprinkle.
He would probably take the other half that you left out and add that to his.
He takes my other half. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh, that's funny. All right, so those are breakfast. That's so quick and easy. Yes.
The coffee is really easy. The cinnamon squares, like Wyatt's had them once this week plus the weekend, 45 seconds in the microwave, and we took them with us in the car, and he ate them on the way to his therapy session. So I mean, it's really for him, because he's not like, he's having crossovers more than he's having like an S or an E. But if we can't get a snack, like I'm being more aware of keeping him fueled on a time schedule as well. And so if we can't get something in, he really likes the chocolate whey with almond milk.
Yep.
So even he is doing some of the simple drinks just to keep him going.
That's awesome. So, my boys are much younger than your son, but those little dudes, if they go too long, they start acting like crazy people. And I'm like, Wes, I really think they aren't fueling enough. And, they'll like grab, literally, they'll have an apple, then a cutie, then a banana. And I'm like, their blood sugar spiking. They're losing their minds. So we've been trying to do those little protein shakes, and I have all the whey flavors. I have not bought whey in years. And right before I went to Nashville, I bought all 4 flavors just to see if they would like it or not. And I said, if they don't like it, I'll drink it eventually,
Right.
But they did. And Wes was like, you need to get some more of blah, 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 and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm fixing to show you how to order. I'll TH them so I don't have to do it.
So they like the cookies and cream one? Because that's the only one I've not tried yet.
Yeah, cookies and cream. Yeah, we all like that one. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's good. Yeah, and I like to use that to do the choco chip frappa. That's in THC.
Yeah.
I like that one. It's a baby.
That would make sense. Yeah, I tried that for the first time not too long ago. And I was like, the chocolate bits in it, I wasn't convinced, but I'd be willing to try it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that one. When I made it recently, I introduced it back to my world. Lily goes, "Is that thing you ate? You drank all the time when you first started?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Like, Mama, like really? I think every afternoon you had that." And I said, "Well, that's how I lost apparently, because I don't really remember. I mean, that was over 5 years ago, Erin. Right. I don't know what I ate, but." She said, "Mama, I think you had that every afternoon." I said, "Well, that is really a good testament to what I was doing, because I was having a fuel pull afternoon snack, which I tell y'all all the time is like the best thing to do." And not all snacks have to be a fuel pull, but it is super helpful to your waistline. That's for sure.
Yeah. Our favorite one, I think it's in Trim Healthy Future, has become the strawberry lemonade one.
Oh yeah. The lemon seed.
It doesn't have lemon seeds in it. Okay. I don't think either that or I left it out. Because all I had was lemon juice and not an actual lemon the first time. It might have had it.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Well, I love that cookbook. I'm actually, just so everybody knows that's watching this on YouTube, I'm not having a Amy Rita. This is a bird of paradise, and I was still feeling fancy. So I put a few raspberries in there. I mean, why not?
I saw that one. I want to try that.
It's so easy. So easy. Oh man. Yes. Rashida,
I did try,
blessed my heart.
Talking about sippers and drinks. I did try the butterfly tea mixed with the oolong. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so good.
And it's so fun that it's that pretty color. It's just a little
It's just so pretty.
It's pretty plates on a pretty plate. Yes. A little sipper and a cute cup. Y'all, it says cheers, y'all. I mean, how cute can you get? So yeah, I love that. And it is the little things, and they don't have to cost a lot of money. And those are things that people could use to kind of incentivize themselves to meet certain goals, I think. Because, there's a lot. And I would bet that your family has done this before. You reward yourself with food. You win a ball game, let's go get ice cream. You made a good grade, let's go do this, And while I think there definitely are times when that is okay,
Right.
And you do what you do for your family, whatever. But I think for us mamas that are definitely needing to be healthier and smaller for a healthier size, think of something else, Yeah.
Well, last Wyatt's therapy goes in, they call them packages, and it's like an 8-week session. Then you have a home package where you're home for 6 to 8 weeks and you do exercises at home, and then you go back again. And this last package, after every time we would stop, mostly because of time, at McDonald's on the way home, and he would get a burger and fries for his lunch. Even if I wasn't doing it, that's what he was getting. Mm-hmm. And I told my husband, I said, we need to stop this, because he's seeing it as, he literally says, if I do good in therapy, can I have McDonald's? I'm like, this is not what we need to be doing.
Right.
And it was exactly that. I was like, he's seeing it as a food reward. I'm like, if that's going to be the reward, it needs to be a much better food than McDonald's. Sorry, McDonald's, but a McDonald's burger and fries.
Yeah.
Because
I doubt the McDonald's people are listening to my podcast, Erin.
Well, maybe not. But
or do they care about
if they are, could they please put something more healthy on the menu for us moms?
You're right, girl. You're right. Are they the ones that I haven't been to McDonald's in years. Did they take salads off their menu, or did I make that?
I want to say yes. Like, there's nothing there. I can get a burger without a bun, or maybe a grilled chicken sandwich, but they don't hold easily.
Yeah.
So it's really rough. That's one of his favorite places. So he yesterday, actually, at his therapy, he walked 98 steps for the first unsupported. And I told him, I'm like, if you hit 100, this kind of goes back to there are times, I'm like, I could concede to a celebration lunch of your choice where, not as a reward, but as a celebration. Right. This can't be an everyday thing. But he only got to 98, and he was like, Mom, that was really close. I said, baby, when you hit 100, I'll let you, but we're gonna stick to it.
Good for you. I think that's good. That's good.
I hope so. I don't want him to struggle the ways that we struggled, and he already has enough struggles of his own.
Right. Do you mind talking about being a mom with a special needs child a little bit?
No, not at all.
How that has, I'm sure that is impacted your mental health and maybe even your view of food. Going to food for comfort in different ways.
Yeah. He was really premature and very, very tiny for many years. And so the things that we needed to do at first was to to put weight on.
Mm-hmm.
And he was intubated for about 3 months, and he was in the hospital for about 6 before he got to come home. And he was a twin. He had a twin sister that didn't get to come home. So it's one of those things where a lot of parents that go through what we went through, they're only seeing the struggles, but we experienced the flip side of it too at the same time. Mm-hmm. So for us, it didn't matter what the struggles were. Getting him home, we won, right? So
you gave me chills.
Sorry.
Oh no. That was good.
So a lot of the things, there's a lot with it. When I was on bed rest, my mom was a nurse, and she was taking care of this girl that was 21 years old and had never left a bed ever. And we struggled with infertility. I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, so I've got my hormones all out of whack. And it took us about 5 years of trying to get them. They were the first pregnancy we've had and the only pregnancy we've had since. And my mom kept telling me on bed rest that she's like, God wouldn't have had you go through all these struggles to just have you lose them, because there was a point we thought we might lose them both.
Right.
And I kept telling him, like, Mom, that's not how you raised me. I'm praying for strength to get through whatever we get through. And I'm praying that if my children are going to be in the state that the girl you're taking care of is in, I don't have to make a decision on whether or not they live or not. Mm-hmm. That is taken from me. And so in the after effect, I couldn't argue or be mad or upset about how it worked out.
Wow.
The trauma that my daughter went through, she would have been in a bed her whole life. She never would have been off a ventilator. I would have been in that place. So that's how I get through the mental stress of it. I mean, this is 100% God's strength getting me through it. So the daily struggles then, now 13 years later with Wyatt, are more like, okay, developmentally, he doesn't understand what I'm saying sometimes. I feel like I'm hitting my head against a brick wall. Those things are still there, and I still don't win every parenting with grace moment.
Yeah, me either, and mine are all good.
but that's what I try to remind myself every day. And God bless Wyatt. If we have a bad day, he is so good at putting me back on track. So we had a really rough day one day. The next morning, we were on our way to therapy, and he was like dancing on that last nerve already at 9 a.m. And he looked at me, he said, Mama, I'm so sorry. I told myself we were going to have a better day today. And I was like, okay, if my kid can do this, so can I. Just Wyatt, let's take a breath. We're going to hold each other's hand. We're going to be okay for a minute. And we're just going to reset.
You're a good mama. Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a good son. His heart is just so good, and he tries so hard. Even when we have bad days, I know it's not because he's trying to be a struggle. It's just, this is our life.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
Wow. So
I'm an open book.
Girl, me too. Me too. Y'all don't know what y'all about to get in blooms in July. Y'all just don't even know. We're not going to talk about that no more up in here. But
I know you keep dropping teasers, and you've got me curious.
Yeah, y'all just going to have to wait a minute. Okay, let's talk about your NSV. I see here on your little form you sent to me, you lost your leg and feet inflammation and have little to no knee or joint pain. That is incredible.
So I sit all day. I mean, I'm testing software. I have a standing desk at work, but it's kind of awkward sometimes to use.
I bet.
Don't have that at home. But I was ending the day with, I mean, my feet were so swollen. It was so painful. I actually asked my husband, and he got them, for compression socks for Christmas this year. Mm-hmm. Like, that was my gift that I wanted the most. Mm-hmm. And then I got back on THM in January, and by the end of January, I had no need to wear them.
Glory.
I know, it was a very quick turnaround. So some of Wyatt's exercises that he likes us to do is exercises with him if we can. Sure. And some of them were really hard to do because it was getting down the floor and on my knees, and it just hurt. I'm not having any struggles doing those with him now. Oh. And some of that could be the weight off of it, but some of it I think is just, the things that I'm putting in my diet, like collagen helping the joints and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So getting off sugar, I'm sure, super important. Yes. White flour, Sure. What else do you do for inflammation? Have you done the quinoa, the singing canaries, stuff like that?
So when I prep them, because I use the liquid form of everything. So I get turmeric juice and ginger juice for the GGMSs and stuff like that. So when I am good about prepping them, I try to have a singing canary once a day. But it usually ends up being like I prep 3 or 4. So I end up having 3 or 4 a week, and I don't do it again until the weekend.
I hear you. I've been meaning to do my singing canary preps for like a month, and I still
Well, and if I have time when I'm home, it's fine for me to grab the, it's a donk and a splash and I can toss it together quickly. But when I'm in the office, it's harder to do that stuff.
I understand.
But then the quinoa, I try to have it a couple times a week. I don't not like it or anything like that. It's just one that I forget to prep a big thing of it. So I buy the microwavable 90-second packets and stuff like that. But then I only get a couple, and then I don't have a big bulk of it sitting around.
Yeah.
I really want to try the breakfast version of it, but the ones I get are like garlic flavored. So that would be a little weird.
That would be gross. You wouldn't like it.
That'd be like putting creamy dreamy in coffee. We're not going to talk about that.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am, we will not. Well, thanks for sharing that about your inflammation. What else was I going to ask you? Oh, I had something really good too. Dadgummit. Oh, what do you think helps you the most in group coaching?
Oh, I probably should have been prepared for this one.
Okay. Just don't say nothing and we'll be fine.
No, it wasn't nothing, because it definitely, so I think one thing that is just the way my brain works, and because my target is not just me, it's also my child. I mean, my husband, I'm trying to help, but I really want to make sure my child is not struggling with the things, because I've been overweight since I was a kid. Like, this has been a lifelong thing.
Okay.
And same with my husband, but our parents, instead of trying to help us, they fed us Oreos and all Kool-Aid with loads of sugar and things like that. So in trying to be smarter, and because of Wyatt's other struggles, trying to pick things, brain food and stuff like that, knowing the nutrition behind it, which I love that you share, that helps me so much. It makes me like the quinoa and the singing canaries. It's like, okay, I like the flavor of it. I like the taste of it, but I need to make sure I'm getting this in because I want it to help with this, not just because I'm trying to lose weight.
That's right.
So that's the part that I think I loved about the group coaching the most. The interaction and the seeing other people having the same thing and talking with each other in the Zooms. I'm pretty quiet in there, but I listen. And I enjoy that. And it's good to know I'm not alone and other people are having the same kind of questions. But I got the most out of the nutritional aspects of everything.
Well, that makes my heart happy.
Good.
Yes, very good. Awesome. And which bud? You were spring buds. Okay.
I was spring bud.
Sure. So this is like your second month of blooms. So
correct.
Yeah, very good. Okay, awesome. So could you just give a little pep talk to a mom that may be in your shoes, whether she works from home, works away from home, has a special needs child, and then also, this is a lot, sorry, in one question, but this is you. This is who you are. You know, the back in the day when you would derail, maybe someone that derailed, like what can you do to kind of love on them and encourage them from your experience?
So the thing that I would say, if you are a person who once you derail, you just get into this mindset of, well, I've already derailed once, what's another XYZ, or what's another time, and then another time. For the first time since January, I went off plan this week. And it was not planned, which I know if we're going to go off plan for it. But I knew it was coming. I was trying to choose not to do it. But our company is starting an entire new thing. We have a restaurant on the first floor of our building now. And they wanted us to be a test group. And so I wasn't going to try any of the food, but when I got down, they still sent us down there, and they had salads and stuff. It was like, okay, I'm going to try a bite. So it wasn't like a total derailment. But when I made the decision, it was a conscious decision, not just because it was convenient or something like that. And I told myself,
or emotional.
Right. It wasn't stress eating or anything like that. It was wanting to be part of the honest feedback, to tell them you need more healthy options, to be honest. But I told myself, I'm doing this in moderation. I'm doing this in a sound mind. Like you said, it's not emotional. And 3 hours from now, I have my snack sitting upstairs, that I'm right back on track.
Love it.
And that's the biggest thing. One time off doesn't mean you're off track or off plan. You're off track or off plan for a meal. And then you just get yourself back on the train.
That's right. Love that. I love that so much. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Good. I told you had a lot to say.
My husband tells me that all the time too, but he doesn't want to listen.
And I'm like, you're going to tell your story and it's going to be awesome. You did so good.
I just feel like my progress, I mean, it's good, but from where I am and where I want to be, I'm still so far. And so I guess I just didn't see myself as a story to highlight just yet, but highlighting the work in progress, I think, probably is just as important sometimes.
Absolutely. Because everybody is a work in progress,
Yeah,
they are. And so I think that is very, very special. So thank you again.
You're welcome.
You want to tell them bye?
Bye.
Bye, y'all. Thanks for listening.